Jeff. Happy Valentine's, Dorinda, Sanyu, our team. Welcome. Thank you guys for attending. I appreciate your presence. I know it takes a lot. You give up so much to be here. So I'm happy to have you. I'm happy to be here. We have a lot to celebrate. One of the things is the birthday of His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Oh, I love you too, Dorinda. Thank you. Today we celebrate, a few days ago we celebrated the President, His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu's birthday. Big deal. I know that he lives for today because tomorrow is not promised with those evil people in government. But we're lucky he's here. We celebrate his tenacity. We celebrate his strength. We celebrate his wisdom. We celebrate him being someone like no other. Okay? We've seen oppositions in Uganda.
Everyone. Sorry.
Embellished. Many who are former president's children, who are whatever the case may be. Those who were generals before, Mugisha Muntu, a whole general, was in the bush with Museveni, came to work with Museveni under his government, eventually decided to join opposition, but obviously a fake opposition. Can you believe Kyagulanyi only has his words, but he's so feared by Museveni, but yet Mugisha Muntu, General Mugisha Muntu commanded the LRA, or he was on the side of Museveni during the LRA war in northern Uganda. He commanded the LRA war in northern Uganda. But this man ran against Museveni with Bobi Wine, who has no weapons, just his words. But Mugisha Muntu walks freely without any of his party members prosecuted, without any of his party members being refused from attending gatherings, without any of his party members ending up in jail. And you have never heard that Mugisha Muntu's anyone or party member has been arrested or has been killed by Museveni. What does that tell you? This tells us that obviously for a very long time since Museveni came to power, he has been having fake oppositions, people who present as if they are in the opposition, so the Western world can think, oh yeah, Uganda is a democracy. Museveni allows for other parties to exist alongside him. And so therefore we can work with him. He's a good person. Therefore, anybody who claims he's not is Ashraf. Hello. Anybody who claims that he's not, obviously those fall on deaf ears. But now, with the coming of His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, who we celebrate very, very much, we highly respect you. You have shown us truly what the fake opposition used to be. That everyone who was in the opposition was fake and working for Museveni. I say this respectfully, but I include Besigye. Many people will think, oh no, that's not true. Well, Besigye was Museveni's doctor in the bush. Okay? He was in the bush with Museveni from the time they started their whatever they were doing, trying to occupy Uganda and all of that. Granted, he's Ugandan. But get this. How come they were with Museveni in the bush? I'm speaking Besigye, you can include Mugisha Muntu. They were in the bush. They did not know that Museveni is not Ugandan, or they never spoke about it when he first came. Besigye has run alongside Museveni for at least 20 years, from what I remember. They did not know that Museveni is called Tibahaburwa. That is something that Professor Lumbuye recently, when he started speaking, unraveled. He found out that Museveni's real names were Tibahaburwa. Eventually, Museveni agrees and says, oh yeah, that's my name. He goes through his fake court system, obviously, Karujire and so on. His attorney, they get his name changed. But that has only been in the last maybe 7 to 8, maybe 10 years at most. So we have a general who was running alongside him, who is free, who got really very few votes, who does not have even 20 members of parliament running for office, but the so-called general who commanded the LRA war, which almost finished the Acholi people, is free, but Bobi Wine is not. His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, he cannot breathe in Uganda. His home, be it he's there or not, is not free. His wife, Mrs. Barbara Kyagulanyi, is assaulted. Okay? This is somebody who is not even 50 years old. This is not somebody who was in the bush. This is not somebody who was with Museveni somehow. This is not somebody who is military trained. We are talking about, could be my brother, could be your brother, someone from the ghetto. I mean, if he knows anything about hurting anybody, maybe he has heard about a machete. He has never killed anyone. But this is the person who cannot breathe in his own country because he ran as an opposition leader. Opposition in Uganda. That tells you that the rest of them are not in the opposition. They are invited by Museveni, funded by Museveni, instructed by Museveni, given guidance by Museveni on how to behave so that they can maintain Museveni in power and winning continuously. Besigye gave Museveni how many wins? At least 4 terms, at least. And I can be wrong. More than likely is more than that. But let's say 4 terms. That's 20 good years of our life of this Besigye man running alongside Museveni as an opposition. You see him being pushed around. I don't know, he's been put in the car, you know what happened to Bobi Wine when he was arrested in Arua. Okay? He survived by the grace of God. Besigye's home is in Kasangati, in Kampala. Yes, he was raided and so on and so forth. They came and pretended and hung out around his house there. Couple of hours, they were gone. Maybe a day at most, maybe 2. But Bobi Wine cannot have a free campaign, has to wear a bulletproof, has to wear headgear to protect himself from being shot. His media person, Ashraf Kasirye, was shot in the head, okay? Many of his bodyguards right now are in prison. Eddie Mutwe has never wanted to be any, I don't know, not even LC1, okay? Eddie Mutwe doesn't even want to be, I don't know, a clerk. Anything mentioned the lowest political level, Eddie Mutwe has never aspired for. Achileo Chivumbi, in prison, a crime just being beside Bobi Wine while Bobi Wine runs for elections. While Bobi Wine is not even running yet, they already picked them up. Before he declared, his bodyguards were already being picked up. People who support Bobi Wine are a major threat to Uganda, to Museveni. Major threat. To the extent that if they find your phone with the Kunga app, or they find you with just information in your phone that may not be, you know, you could just have the colors of the Nup flag, you know, the band, the red, blue, and white. That alone will get you killed, okay? People like Frank Senteza. Frank was, just because he was accompanying Bobi Wine to an event, okay? Frank Senteza was run over by a military vehicle. There is not a day where Bobi Wine has gone to the streets, even if he's going to do his own things, that there's no police somehow informed and following and trailing and trying to hurt him. That goes to show you how powerful Bobi Wine is. And so, His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, wherever you are, we are really proud of you. You are made of very special grain. You are an excellent challenge to Museveni. You are something he has never seen. And God hid you like Moses. Moses was put in a basket when Pharaoh was killing all boy children that were born. And Moses was put in a basket, floated over water, and ended up in the kingdom of the Pharaohs. And one of his daughters picked him up and raised him. Same thing happens with Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. He grew up in Kampala. He's self-made. You know, he had his music career. He owns assets that he never stole from anyone. He has been married to the same woman since he could remember. Okay? He has lived his life. His children are doing so well. You have nothing to blame him for, you know, nothing stains his record compared to all the rest. You know, they talk about Besigye, I don't know, did something with the maid or whatever. None of that is on Kyagulanyi. He is a spotless human being. Museveni has tried to incriminate him. He cannot perform, which is his livelihood. The only thing that he has been doing for the longest time has been music. Even that he's banned from doing. But let me just say, he grew up right under the nose of Museveni. In the ghetto, has learned all the ways of life. He started from nothing and built himself to something major. Okay? You can't touch Bobi Wine. You can't blame Bobi Wine. There's nothing to blame. You can't compare him and find fault. Okay? I am not saying that he is Moses. I am just saying in a moment, in a country where anything could get you killed, anything could get you tainted and blackmailed, Bobi Wine has none. So, His Excellency, we celebrate you, we love you, we believe in you, and we will not stop working with you because we know your heart is in the right place. Happy birthday, and I hope you had a great day. Okay? So moving on, the next big win that we have is the European Union Parliament. As we saw day before yesterday, they had plenary and they discussed Uganda. We want to thank mainly Dr. Nico. He lives in the Netherlands. He has been a huge supporter, friend of Uganda, and fighter for democracy and exposing Museveni. In the Netherlands is a woman who is the ambassador of Uganda to the Netherlands. I know her very well. Her name is, I think, Mariam. She is born in the Netherlands, but she's let's say Muzungu. She was married to a military person from Uganda before, a long time ago, and he passed away. This woman now works at the UN, and she has made sure anything that comes up in Uganda is swatted away and is not heard about. So people like Nico are there and have pushed through such apologists of Museveni to make sure Ugandans' voices are heard. Dr. Nico, we thank you very, very much. I believe you know who that person Miriam is. I'm going to post her picture on my page. I know her. I've met her personally. And so she works in Geneva at somewhere, I think in the UN, or one of those offices where if a report comes against Museveni, she finds a way to make sure it disappears, or she smoothes things around so that it is not Any discoveries are not made, no investigations, and it's forgotten about. That's how Museveni has thrived. He has hidden people in different places to be able to hail him and swat any complaints or voices that come from Uganda showing negativity. That's how come since the 1950s, when Museveni started doing these things, okay, before independence, Museveni was already attacking Uganda and attempting to get in here. And so he has planted people in different places to try to clean up his name, mop it up, clean it up, so that the Western world is fooled. Okay? For a long time that worked. Not anymore. Not anymore, because we have shared very much information. Thanks to satellites, thanks to social media, thanks to individuals like you, you know, who every day strive to make an effort to bring about change. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we had a big win. There was plenary where there was about 500 and I think maybe 530 people, 500 and something. 514 voted in favor of Bobi Wine. In favor meaning that everything that the claims that were put in about what happened in Uganda, the videos that were filed, the reports that were sent, the voices that were sent, all those were looked into, investigated further, and gave these people information, the members of the EU Parliament, information to be able to come to a decision. So because of all that, everything that was shared, especially about the election, 514, okay, voted in favor of Bobi Wine. And only 3, I'm thinking those are Museveni's people, just a few. It's possibly Museveni's, I don't know, whoever he plants out there. Only 3 voted for Museveni. So that is how I'd like to explain it to help us all understand where we are. 514 for Bobi Wine and his cause, and our cause and our voices as Uganda. Only 3 for Museveni. That really means that we've made headway. The world now knows, the EU Parliament, which is consistent of 29 countries in Europe, now know about this man, okay, and all the atrocities he has been committing, all of the documentation. This also opens the ears of those concerned in the right places, like the ICC, to start gearing up and looking into information, because the EU is an important parliament in Europe. Some of them also work for the ICC and so on and so forth. This will help us get things moving faster. Hopefully there's a red alert for Museveni. A red alert means that when you find him, catch him, hand him over. When you find him, report, and he'll get picked up. So we are hoping for a red alert to come from this, for him, his son, and everybody else that was part of the atrocities that have happened in Uganda during the elections of this year, January 15th, 2026. So that's a huge, huge win. I want us to celebrate that. Also, I believe today, and it may be happening, there is our president, His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, will be speaking in Geneva, either on the 18th or it may be going on. But that is also another way of exposure about what has happened in Uganda. So we look forward to that. We hope for that to be the case. This platform hosts a lot of people from different parts of the world and is listened to by a lot of people. So we're hopeful, we're excited that more of these avenues are opening up. We hope for more in the near future. And we pray that soon, these people who are killing Ugandans will be held accountable for what they're doing or what they've done. Okay? So here are some of the parameters for the vote in favor of Kyagulanyi Ssentamu or Bobi Wine. These are the requirements that Museveni has to make achievable right away. Okay? They voted on these issues. that Museveni has to end military trial of civilians. You know, people like Sanya in the beginning, when he was arrested from the last election that was stolen, you know, he gives himself a win and also gives sleepless nights to the second in position, according to Byabakama, because we know that Bobi Wine won both the 2021 election and the 2026 election. Right after winning, people are still getting picked up. People are still being killed. People are disappearing. All those things are still going on. Museveni, if you won the election, why are you still doing these things? What do you want Bobi Wine for? You and your son. What do you want him for? Okay? It doesn't make any sense. And it further shows to the world that all along, whatever you are doing is true. This is going to help the Western world go back to their notes and review and truly come to a point where, yes, Musa, thank you very much. The name is Miriam Black, the ambassador in Netherlands. That is the woman who was planted in Netherlands by Museveni. She works in the ICC. Also, she works with the UN. Dr. Nico is in the same country where she is. This woman makes every effort to derail every complaint that is filed against Museveni since history. She has been an ambassador for many, many years. Museveni doesn't even require her to submit credentials anymore to renew. She's just on automatic renewal. Why? Because her job is not ambassadorship. Her job is being a lobbyist for Museveni, swatting everything possible that is filed against Museveni. There is also a lobbyist country here in the U.S. I will find out what it is and I'll share it. I saw something on Dr. Kauma's page. He shared something about the lobbyists in the U.S. Lobbyists in different countries are used to help clean up Museveni's messes in Uganda. So let's say there's a complaint that is filed about political prisoners in Uganda. It reaches the desk of, let's say, foreign secretary in any country. What those lobbyists do is they come in and submit reports. Fake, falsified, possibly, very likely, because how can you present Museveni in a good way? There's no words to describe that man in a good way. None. None. So those lobbyists find a way, like attorneys. You know, when you have a lawyer, and even people who kill people have lawyers. Okay? Even if the lawyer knows that person did it, that is their job, is to present this person in the best way possible and get a not guilty verdict. That is what these lobbyists are. So Miriam Black, I know her very well. I personally know her. Her job is not to be an ambassador. Well, that is one of her jobs. Her main purpose of being there with a renewed ambassadorship every time without a stop or re-credential is to help clean up Museveni's dirty work or name. That is why all along, any complaints filed by Uganda have not made headway. But now, it's a little too late. Everything's coming out. Thank you, Dr. Nico. You're in the same country, and man, are you pushing those walls. The other issue that the U.S. voted, the European Union voted to achieve immediately from Museveni is unconditional release of political prisoners. You're going to see in the near future how he's going to dance around these issues. He's going to pretend that he's going to release these political prisoners on his own accord. But no, this man knows what is chasing him. All this information has already been sent to him. He's aware. These lobbyists already sent messages the same night that this happened. They got copies of information right to him. So he's going to pretend like he's doing it on his own accord, which I'll tell you, I have a lot of information to share. So just bear with me. He's going to look like he's doing it, you know, being good or making the Western world think that he's just, he's appropriate or he's now cleaning up and looking good. But no, don't be fooled, because whatever he's doing to clean up, he is going to even kill and destroy more people. More people. Indigenous Ugandans in the military, in the armed forces, are going to be maimed for crimes they did not they did not commit. I will get to those points when I get there, but just keep that in mind. They've also asked him to have independent investigation into the killing and disappearance of people during the election period. Like I said in my previous maybe 2 videos, when the UN Human Rights Commission required him to submit a report on what happened while the internet was off, he sent a bogus report. Made up numbers, did not make sense. The videos we've sent are way more than what he claimed the number of people were killed. As we speak now, I think we're up to 3,000 people disappeared, killed, or missing, or in prison. About 3,000. Now, those 3,000 are only the documented ones. But remember, there are people who live in terror that will not even mention that their person was killed. Okay? If you do remember Chibalama was the journalist, I think he was a TV broadcaster, who joined politics. Did he join politics? Anyways, Chibalama's story is really sad. He was among the 18 people who have never been seen or heard from. Okay? Never been seen or heard from. But get this. Maybe 2 years ago, the Prime Minister, Nabanja, I don't know where Museveni picks these people up from, but that woman is the most stupid person there is in such a big office, who is used and doesn't even know which direction good or bad things are going for her. She's just, I don't know. But that's how Museveni works. He uses those people because it makes him look like the only genius in the room. He sits around all these idiots, all these political advisors or state house advisors or his presidential advisors. They're not there to advise him. They're there because he wants to take them away from potentially joining NUP, or if they're already in NUP, he tries to bring them close. But anyway, Mr. Chibalama disappeared in 2018. 2019. 18 of them. Nobody knows where they went. Whether they're dead, whether they were taken, because I understand they have a lot of gold mines where they take young people and forever work them to their death. They take people to work in their factories. I understand there are some factories in Kapeka. Some of them are in Liantonde. Some of them are taken to Congo to mine gold. Anyway, Chibalama's case is a mystery. Here comes Nabanja walking in and says she knows and has Chibalama. She did not have, whatever the case might be, probably did not have Chibalama, okay? Chibalama became such a heat, like a thorn in her shoe, because then we kept asking, where is Chibalama Nabanja? Eventually, it is said, and this is likely true, that Nabanja, because the wife of Chibalama kept asking and going to her office and sending questions and filing with police and checking all police stations in Uganda to find her husband. And she could not get a response. What Nabanja decided to do, a whole prime minister, she found mafias who went ahead and strangled Chibalama's wife. Rest in peace, soldier. Went and strangled Chibalama's wife. So Chibalama has children. Shortly after Chibalama disappeared, his mother could not take it. She passed on. Recently, maybe a month ago, Noop, as a party, attended the funeral of Chivalama's father. Chivalama has 2 children who now have no mother, no father, and no grandparents. How sad is that? Someone like Nabanja is a person who cannot escape the ICC. And because such reports have already been filed, this will go to show all these service providers of Museveni that alone you will have to account for what you have done. Nabanja, today and tomorrow, we will ask and continue asking, where is Chivalama? You said you have him. You must produce Chivalama or you will not live in peace in Uganda, especially with the new Uganda. Everyone will be accountable individually in Uganda. If you're a police officer, if you're a military person, if you're a politician, if you are a local council, if you are an RDC, if you are a doctor, if you are a nurse, whatever you are, right now you work for Museveni. But when it's all said and done, this man is 150 years old, okay? He's not going to be here soon. This man is a moving target for the Western world right now. This man is a moving target for the ICC. All of you who are continuing to work with Museveni, it is a matter of time. You will be answerable. And we will have a government that will make you pay for what you have done. It is early for you to come on the side of the people and be on the right side of history and be recorded as such. But if you do not, you will face the music when the time comes. So anyway, so that's the next thing. They want Museveni to investigate or have an independent investigation to the killing and disappearances of all these people, including the people who were killed during the election, after the election, and currently, because reports are being submitted every day. Every day. The other thing is that Museveni has been tasked to impose, the European Union has requested that they impose sanctions on people responsible. So Museveni brought soldiers from different countries to come into Uganda during the election and commit his atrocities. I know this because a lot of people report people who were not able to speak any language that they understood. All they did was push and shove and hit and shoot. They looked different just by identity. They had different badges on them. So our assumption is that they came from Rwanda, obviously. Some of them came from Congo. Many of them from Tanzania. When I say Congo, I mean ADF and the other one, the one that Kagame's army and rebel group all in one. ADF and M23. They are all his mercenaries. Museveni and Kagame use those as rebels to attack themselves so that they can show the Western world that there's rebel activity so they can get money. I mean, this man is tactful, but it's over. This is the end. There's no more guesswork about who Museveni truly is. We have it down. Okay? So they're saying that they're going to impose sanctions on responsible people, which includes people like Muhoozi, you know, people like Nabanja, Museveni's whole government, obviously, Museveni's relatives. When they impose sanctions on somebody, like they did on Anita Among, the Speaker of Parliament, her husband cannot travel anywhere. Anybody who has kin to, or who is akin to Anita Among, cannot travel to any Western world country. They may be going to China because Museveni has relations with China, maybe North Korea. I guess that's fine. But they cannot go to places of the Western world because those sanctions are placed on them. Also included is their asset freeze. They do not have access to any of their buildings they had, their Swiss banks, you know, their offshore accounts, all of their real estate, all of that is null and void. So this is something that will help, because when they have to think twice about the losses they're making, maybe their hearts will change. Okay. The other thing is that they demand restoration of media freedom and internet access. So they recently the judge, what is his name? The new Chief Justice said, we cannot speak about, we're not allowed to speak about judges or councils or whatever. Well, the EU is saying that as part of the conditions, they must give internet freedom or media freedom to everyone who is willing, like me, and anybody else who speaks should be allowed to speak freely. One of the last option, the last requirement is accountability, not just statements from people or coming from the State House since 2021. They want accountability since 2021. Like I said, this that has happened now is going to give us room to investigate into history. So they're looking into history because our filings have been since before His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu came into the political scene. So all of that history is now being looked at. And so Museveni has to account. Since then, since before Frank Senteza, since Arua incident where Bobi Wine survived and his bodyguard was taken out, his driver was shot. Since before that time, all of everything that was filed now comes into action, under the microscope, has to be investigated. So they have to submit accountability. You know, when this type of accountability is not because those people in the UN or the ICC don't have information. No, they are just asking Museveni so that he can show that he can match the evidence we already put there. Tell me how Museveni can give, let's say he says only 300 people died during the election, but we have videos showing 3,000 people documented, dead, missing, in safe houses and all that. He cannot win this battle because as much as he used to forge information, he can't do that anymore. There's so much that has been piled and compiled that if he were somebody I knew, if I were Natasha, it would be time to say, you know what? Let's hang our gloves and go someplace else. But Museveni is waiting for what will come to him, and he knows it's coming. So good for him, because it is coming. Okay? I have a lot to talk about, so just bear with me. Museveni is obviously still looking for Bobi Wine. As you know, there are several stops that are being made, and people are being raided in the night in their homes, trying to ask and find if they know any whereabouts of Bobi Wine. It is futile because Bobi Wine is not in Museveni's generation. The way Museveni is attacking or trying to fish out Bobi Wine is not how Bobi Wine exists. It used to be that they would foot by foot try to trace somebody. Times have changed. Okay? And if only they could understand that, they would know that they have failed at this and cannot succeed at this. Bobi Wine could be anywhere, and that's their biggest... I'm sorry, somebody called me. Museveni has been undressed in every way possible to the world to see truly what this human being is. Okay? So in your absence, unfortunately, a lot of what you have built has been destroyed, but we promise you in a new Uganda, we will make it up to you. Okay? But whatever you're doing is godly, is God-guided, and we know will be fruitful. So Museveni keeps looking. He has very many plans, as I'm going to tell you, about what he's doing or what he's attempting to do to try to capture Bobi Wine. There's a plan to abduct or capture 10 NUP, National Unity Platform executives. I am talking about leader of opposition, Joel Senyonyi. I'm talking about Louis Rubongoya, talking about Nubian Lee, talking about everybody that is in the leadership of NUP. Museveni plans on capturing them all at once and trying to stage them to see if each one to call Bobi Wine personally on their phone and see if Bobi Wine will answer and tell them where he is. I'm going to speak more about that point because I have further details later on somewhere. About the UPDF now, there's a lot to say about the UPDF. As you have seen, there has been a lot of killings. There was a general who recently was killed, but I'll get there. There's a plan by Museveni to prepare a transition for his son, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, to take over the next government. In that, he wants his son to have a fortification. By fortification, I mean he wants his son to have soldiers who respect him. And now that he knows that Ugandans have an affection for His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, Museveni is now trying to erase or get all Ugandan military to disappear. To disappear meaning to kill them. Some of them you have seen already. Deo Sunday was killed right at the Tare Sita event. What I mean by that is that, let me get to that, but let me describe this first. So anyways, the way he wants to do this is he wants to start with the top executives, the top military UPDF people. These are people who usually are the original soldiers who he came to power with. They are usually numbered from, they usually have 3 numbers, 001 or 002 or 003. And also sometimes they are labeled 004. So for example, the people who are resistance officers or ROs are usually 00 something. There are 3 numbers. And those who are RAs are 4-digit numbers. The 3 numbers are his people usually, including him. Museveni is 001. Okay? And then he places the rest. So RA are 00 with 4 numbers. Okay? So it could be 0001, whatever the case might be. 4 figures. People like Kahinda Otafire. Otafire is 0014. These are the older people who ushered him in, who came with him at the time that he was coming to take over Uganda. They did the Luwero War. They were fooled. They thought they were fighting for the real deal. They thought that Museveni, they didn't know that Museveni was behind Obote's documented atrocities. They didn't know that they were fighting for Rwandi's occupation, even if they're indigenous Ugandans. Like Otafire is a Muganda. No, he's not a Muganda. He's Otafire. He's from the Western Uganda somewhere. Otafire is Western Uganda. But they did not know the truth. People like Kasiria Gwanga, who, rest in peace, is not here anymore. These are people who ushered in Museveni. But you can see that even them, they were given second base. Okay? Second base meaning 4 numbers. The ones who had 3 numbers are top cream, including Museveni and his friends and his best friends and his relatives and his Rwandi's people. You won't find has infiltrated their hearts. Even if they may act tough, okay? They have a certain feeling and love for His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. And because of that, Museveni feels like they won't give full allegiance to Bobi Wine. Hence, their slow, poisonous efforts to destroy, eliminate, and kill these people. I will describe to you how Sunday was killed recently. Okay? There's another thing that I don't know if you guys remember when Bobi Wine or His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu went on a fundraising drive for NUP, and they set up stations where people were given receipts for helping or contributing towards National Unity Platform. The reason they actually seek contributions like this is something in the background, is that during this whole time that Bobi Wine is running, during this whole time, especially election time, all of their finances were frozen. Imagine how evil Museveni is. But you will not find that any of the other fake opposition's accounts were frozen. Everybody who was able and capable, obviously His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, they had no access to their personal finances. Just like they've seized his home now. They have seized all of his assets and finances and his real estate. Evidently, by turning it into a barracks now. So, this is when the drive started. If you remember, there was a receipt that was given to the military. They also donated. This is something that has disturbed Muhoozi and his father and Salim Saleh for the longest. They have been trying to figure out which people are those who gave Bobi Wine donations. And the receipt says to the military. It's perturbed them, and they're still further disturbed. In those efforts to try to find who is connecting with Bobi Wine, they've started killing those generals. General, the one who died before Deus, Twikiriza or somebody like that. He was actually, first of all, tortured before he died. After his torture, Twikiriza was taken to a military barracks where he had to stay to nurse his wounds from the torture. Twikiriza was not allowed to see his family. All the efforts his family made to see him were denied or rejected by the UPDF, by the Muhoozi people, because they order these people's steps. They did not accept them to see him. Even after Twikiriza died from his wounds and injuries, they still did not allow his family to open the coffin and see him. So they don't even know if they buried the real guy, let alone how and what condition he died. All they take from there is what they say happened to him. So what they say essentially is on the death certificate is what they will believe that their father or husband or brother or uncle died from. But imagine somebody who has not been sick, reported no illness, no weakness, no decline, all of a sudden is dead. That is how Museveni operates. The other thing, all officers, this goes to military or armed forces, all officers who play Bobi Wine's music, if you have it on an asset, like a memory or on your phone, delete it, because those are going to be ways they will judge you for supporting Bobi Wine, hence your disappearance. So they're hunting down, in fact, any driver or their boss who listens to Bobi Wine's music, vice versa, has reported each other to Museveni and his people, and they're going to start hunting them down because they've all been profiled. So you have seen videos where there's some NRM people, there's some police officers dancing to Bobi Wine's music or listening to what he's saying and all of that. All those people have been profiled. Your driver may have reported you, or you reported your driver. Either way, both of you are in the military, and they're going to deal with you. They've started picking people up. There's several, I have numbers here of military people who are, or military or armed forces who are in detention because of suspicion of working with Bobi Wine. So if you have that music, put it away. Otherwise, help us cross the line. Cross and come to the people's side. And help us get rid of these people. Because you are not supposed to be his music. Imagine that. So be careful. Do the right thing at the right time. Join us. Come on, let's try to relieve to save our country from these people together. Work with us. We are peace-loving people. We will not judge you at this time. And maybe you can tell us how those things came about so that it's forgivable. Okay? It's not compulsory that you people, the armed forces, do what these people are asking you to do. If it is too much and your heart does not allow, quit, AWOL, or join the other people. We will protect you. I promise you. We will protect you and get protection for you any way possible. Just come out. That's all we ask. Okay? Sunday Deus, who died recently, was found with Bobi Wine's music, and that's why he was killed. There's also another plan by Museveni to kill all brilliant Ugandans who speak publicly on radios. Those who are brilliant, there are some people that you listen to and say, wow, this is a great analyst of information. Okay? Even if they speak in different languages, they have already been profiled by people like Kasuku. Kasuku and his people are assets of Museveni and continue to profile people for these guys to take on or destroy. So he has been contracted, Kasuku has been given what he needs to do these things. So be careful, even if you speak at village level and your voice is what the people listen to or people believe in what you have to say. It is true that Museveni is going to try to do away with you people. Okay? So, Atuhaire. Yes, thank you. Gilbert Olanya, you're very right. Thank you so much. People like the Gilberts, people who are on the media, on air, people on like CBS or whatever channels, radio stations, televisions, even podcasts, local YouTube channels and things like that. If you're exposed, they're going to try to get rid of you. So be very, very, very careful. Very careful because you've already been profiled. But listen, Ugandans, how much are they going to control us? Soon they'll say you can't breathe in until we tell you to. How much can they stop us from being what we want to be? How much? What is it going to take? Generals or people who are holding guns, why? If you're going to get killed like flies, okay? Why don't you do the needful? Why don't you take care of these people somehow? I am not a violent, loving person. But so many people are dying every day. And why be a general? Why be the holder of the key to an armory? Why are you the one being sent to kill people, to do things you don't even want to do? Why don't you cross the line and come to the right side? Let your heart speak. And not these people ordering you, because you know what? When they're done with you, they will kill you. Let me tell you how Deo Sunday was taken out. So being a general, usually somebody polishes your shoe. All of us who went to school, remember? You have to use kiwi on your shoe. You polish it to look nice and sparkly. So General Sunday, had somebody who had to do that for him. As a matter of being a general, it is done for you. In his shoes is where they put poison. That poison in that shoe, that is the shoe that he was to wear to go to Taresita. He actually wore those shoes to Taresita. That event where Museveni celebrates the time he went to the bush or something like that. I mean, this guy is so old, we don't even care what he did then. So anyways, This man is wearing shoes that are poisoned all day at the event. It is also said that he was given other poison in other ways while at the event. So all day he's sitting there in poison. Anybody who's medically inclined, you know that your feet have the most pores in your body. In fact, if you want something healing to go into your body and get distributed somehow, which people use a lot with castor oil, you put it under your feet and it will reach everywhere. In fact, there's a massage which is done on your feet and it will touch every organ of your body. Or if you need wellness in a particular organ, that massage, okay, will reach that destination. So let's say in your foot, you have all the representatives of all your organs under there, the pores. This man sat there with all the poison under his feet, and it just kept going to distributed parts of his body all day. All day. And these people are watching saying, you know, it's working. Hello. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Hello. Hi, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, from wherever you are. Nothing to point to why that happened. Because the poison infiltrated his feet, the soles of his feet, which is most porous, until he died. In a one-day event. So all of you military people who are still following these instructions, especially the guy who has been appointed to take over his position, do you know that you're next in line? Any of you who wear a uniform, do you know that your expiration dates are with this Muhoozi guy? Kainerugaba? Do you know that Museveni orders your end and your life? Why would you even take up a position like this after knowing that this is what it did? All of you military people know that Museveni killed Lokech. Okay? The lion of Mogadishu. So this guy can be a lion in Somalia, but Uganda can fail him. He cannot manage a simple accident of a fall or whatever they said he did happened to him. All of you are in line. If you don't see where you're headed, then you're blind. Because they want to eliminate all of you in military uniform or police to bring Muhoozi, the spring chicken, with his own army, and now is full of Rwandese. All Ugandan militia are at risk. All of you Ugandan police and military, your time is numbered. And according to how Museveni wakes up, if it feels like today is your day, you're gone. Do the needful. Join us. Please. We will protect you. You will feel at home with us because we are home. Yes, Faith. It is true. Jacob Olanya himself said that he was poisoned. It doesn't surprise me because he's an intellectual and he knew when things didn't feel right. Yes. Please, please, UPDF, Ama J, please come together. Come to the right side of history. We love you and we care for you. They are finishing you. Come with us. The next thing I want to talk about is a very sad, but a necessity to talk about. Many of you know who Rwabogo is. Okay? Rwabogo is finishing Ugandans. How so? Rwabogo is in the business of selling internal organs. And in this, during this time of political opposition of NUP and this party, Rwabogo's business has boomed. Guess why? Because every time they've abducted NUP people who are not documented sometimes, even though they're documented, they have taken them, those who have been killed, their organs have been harvested and sold to places like China, Japan, and so on and so forth. Rwabogo is one of the main killers or reasons to kill Ugandans in Uganda. Nobody can tell you what Rwabogo does to earn money. Can you point to it? Do you know any job that people like Muhozi, who claims to have a fund today, and Rwabogo do to earn such huge monies, to own all the arcades, all the hotels, I understand, in tourist locations are his. These people sell internal organs. They have places. Rwabogo has a place in Kira. He has a lab and a theater in Kira. Theater, I mean a place where they do surgeries. In a complex in Bulindo, their apartments. He has large fridges that are solar powered, where he stores these organs that are harvested from people. The organs are eyes, lungs, hearts, bones, teeth, liver, placenta, pancreas, skin, bone marrow. All that is for his business. That last family is evil. The son is killing people, Muhozi. The son-in-law, Rwabogo, is harvesting organs and killing people in the process. Museveni is killing Ugandans on order. Janet Museveni is killing education. The wife, okay? The daughter, who's supposed Christian whatever, is preaching the wrong message to Ugandans. The whole family is part of a portion of destruction of Ugandans. Wake up, my people. I know you are. I shouldn't even say that anymore. So that is the business that Rwabogo is involved in. He does have contracts with large hospitals like Mulago, all regional hospitals. Some of those posh hospitals or clinics, he has contracts with doctors. Anytime somebody needs to go to the theater, you know, they send SFC people to go and perform these surgeries. If you have good organs or whatever, they're harvested without your knowledge. You know, recently, maybe a year or two ago, there was a person who was arrested, taken into custody, and came out without one kidney. And he doesn't remember having an accident on that end. Nothing to point to why that happened. Because these organs are harvested and sold to Chinese people or Japanese people. Many of you know Chinese people eat placenta because they believe it makes them young or look younger, whatever the case might be. But in any case, why? Why are these people doing this? Yes, Polly, they do, yes. They use the Ugandan airlines to transport or have airplanes come from these varied countries to come and pick up and transport. Some organs go to the UAE. It is no wonder maids who go out to work in these countries, some of these countries, come up with organs missing, mysteriously dead, or organs transplanted to their bosses somehow. All this is in plan by these people to make money. How sick is that? How sick is that? So be careful when you go to places like that. The lab is in Kira, in a complex, in an apartment complex in before Bulindo. There are apartments that have solar with large fridges where they store these organs. He takes all these organs through Uganda Airlines and other airlines to build wealth. That's why these people like Rwabogo own all arcades. You know, they have all kinds of buildings and assets in Uganda and in Rwanda. Okay? Rwabogo and Muhozi do not get along. In fact, they said that all trucks that go to Rwanda, Congo, and Tanzania are all for Rwabogo. You wonder where he got the money to even start a business like this. So be careful and be mindful, because people like these will not stop until we expose them and put a stop to it. I understand Rwabogo is being fronted by Janet to run for presidency because she doesn't like Muhozi, because Muhozi is not her son. But in any case, that is, you know, something that we really don't care about, because we want all of them out. We don't care who does what with them, each other in there. Whether they like each other or not, good for us. But let them get out is the end goal, and they will. What's my next point? So traffic police, this is a new thing that they're also trying to do. Traffic police is going to come up with some bogus policies targeting Noop and Ugandans or people who voted for Noop. They're going to set up mandatory checkpoints, several checkpoints, compulsory to have vehicles checked. I mean, if you have a baby wrapped up in a blanket, they're going to tell you open the baby because they're looking for Chagulanyi. Take the blanket out, get up, stand out, get outside. You know, all these things because they're fearful. They don't know where Chagulanyi is, you know. They think and suspect that he could hit them at any time and that he could come equipped to do whatever he can do because Chagulanyi being away and on the loose is the biggest headache these people have. The biggest headache Museveni and the son and Salim Saleh have is Chagulanyi's not being around or visible. And they think that when they capture these new people, that Chagulanyi's phone is actually open because he's so stupid, right? They think Chagulanyi's phone is being charged every day so that Chagulanyi can call his people or call all of his executives to talk to them. Museveni, that's not how we work. Chagulanyi always probably has 20 banner phones. You know those banner phones where you use once and throw in the trash? He will never be tracked, okay? This is a new generation, Museveni. This cannot be compared to what you're used to. No. No. We have access to phones where I can use a phone now and nobody can trace it. It's called a banner phone. One example. So if you're looking for him in people's phones, like capturing the executives of Noop, you're wasting your time. Because even there, you're not going to find him. And you're going to continue killing these military people. So people in uniform, you're going to be killed for nothing. Because Bobi Wine is a new generation. He's not what they're used to. They're not going to find Bobi Wine no matter what they do. So what that means is you are the ones who are going to suffer. Why don't we suffer for the right reason? Why waste your blood for these people who are killing us day and night? Make a hero of yourself. Just help us. You know what I mean. Join us. We'll protect you. You will be coming home. You will be. Deus Sunday, had he crossed, he wouldn't be dead today. Aronda Nyakairima, had he chosen to be on the right side, he wouldn't be dead today. The late Lokech, if he had chosen to be on the right side, he wouldn't be dead today. You know? Twikiriza, if he was on the right side, he wouldn't be dead today. But many of you, despite knowing that Museveni has killed these people, you are still moving on with him. You are still taking up positions that become vacant by these people being killed by these people. Let's think a bit more. Okay? Let's think a bit more. UPDF, come on home, brothers and sisters. Come on home. We will protect you. I promise you that. Come on home and let them fidget with their assignments. They're not smart people. So that's a really good thing on our side. They need you people to go and help them perform these atrocities because they themselves are weak and not smart. I'm going to get to the point where they're not smart and you'll be surprised. Okay, so they want to make transportation experiences very difficult for people because of so many checkpoints. They will also issue a lot of taxes or fines for people who are found with very minor violations. Okay? Taxis from now on are only going to carry 10 people instead of 14 people. They used to carry about 14 people. They are going to be reduced to only 10 people. Because what? Museveni thinks you people might sit on Bobi Wine. Or between you two, there may be a Bobi Wine there. Or under your chair, Bobi Wine might be there. He wants to be able to access and look under. But police officers and traffic officers, we are with you. You know what to do, and we'll be okay. Let them make these, whatever they're thinking. But it won't work. Because just the example of Bobi Wine getting through their hands is good enough indication that we are free. Okay? I talked about that. Intellectuals. The other assignment that Museveni has given journalists and interreligious council, other institutions, universities, medical institutions, churches. They are going to start speaking about peace, unity. You have seen some of these people like the Mbid days online. I watched an event. I don't know if it's called. What is it called? Mbid was there. There was a new representative. There was another, maybe 4 gentlemen. It's one of those night shows that they have, I think, on NBS. But what they came to talk about is, it was that gentleman from FDC who said that, who went to see Museveni. Do you see why FDC is such a falsehood of opposition? Do you see that now? Because people like, was he called Movawala or something? That gentleman from FDC went to see Museveni with some people he claims were in NUP that he coerced to go and see Museveni. Do you see why I say other opposition are fake? Do you know that Museveni should have arrested that man just like all FDC supporters, and they were supposed to be equal in prison, like the NUP soldiers? That goes to show you the holes in Museveni's existence as a democracy. There is no democracy in this man's language. That goes to show you why people like, what's his name? The guy who, Jema, the president of Jema, walks free. People like Nandala Mafabi walks free. The guy doesn't even know what he's doing. Is he running, or is he just walking around? Is he just visiting his friends and relatives? None of his people were arrested. None. And then the most amusing part is that the most low-ranking, this man from the Poverty Party, is the one that goes and files a claim to say that the elections were rigged. He doesn't even have a leg to stand on, because when you lose an election to that extent, you have no leg to stand on to contest the winner and the 5 between you, because you will never be in position to take up lead. They have to, first of all, cancel all the 5 above you to get to you and your win. But in any case, their suspicion was that with that man coming up, maybe NUP would join them. But we have learned very well from the first 2021 elections that the courts do not give justice. The courts only implement Museveni's laws. So that man died in his film. Whatever he was trying to do, obviously he went and withdrew the petition, because foolishly he thought that we would come out and join him and bring all of our DR forms and say, okay, here's the evidence, let's go. But we knew that the loser of losers has no leg to stand on to try to contest an election. Thank you, His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Thank you for coming. Where would we get all this? Okay? So anyways, all those intellectuals, medical institutions, churches are going to start speaking about, coming together, talk about, be outspoken, talk about, things have changed. But also, he's going to start poisoning those people as well. All these people that he's giving this job to come and speak about these things, Museveni plans to eliminate. People are assigned the job of research to report to SFC and Damulira in hotels and hospitals, lodges, so they're poisoned and killed. Captain Francis Babu once said, has been, who knows, you remember Babu recently lost a son. And for the first time, he came out, eyes wide open, saying Museveni is bad, Museveni this and that. With everything that he said, like I said, when those people came, they were either very comfortable with the money Museveni was giving them, or they were hoodwinked by Museveni's agenda. Because who knew that Francis Babu would ever be against Museveni? But because he came out and spoke after his son died, because he thought that his son would also be privileged like Muhoozi. No. That's not how Museveni works. Ask this Muslim gentleman who lost his son, the very outspoken son. All the first sons of previous ministers, you know, people who worked for Museveni government, are non-existent. Purposely, because Museveni doesn't want competition with his lumpen of a son. That is why people who had children who were doing so well, you know, some of these children of these people, like the Babus, went to school with the Muhozis and even took papers or took assignments on his behalf. But when the time came, Naduli, thank you so much, Polly. Naduli's son, Haji Naduli, when the time came for his son to show up, he was outspoken, and everybody thought, that's wonderful. That's, you know, we have somebody who has some reasoning capacity. You know, we have all this. A few moments later, the son was gone. Why? Museveni doesn't want competition with his lumpen. The other one is the son who went to Sandhurst with Museveni. If you can remind me, I'm watching comment section. What is his name? I'll get to it. If I see it, I'll let you know. Even that son was killed. Some of them are fetched out in the US here, and something's done to them. Because like then, Museveni did not want competition of age mates with his son. Now he doesn't want competition or disrespect from generals with tenure and seniority in the armed forces to be under his son. Because he knows they know too many tactics and may be able to get rid of him. Okay? I may have to come twice, so just know that if I get off somehow, I will come back in a different portion of I have a lot of information. Okay? So Museveni has said Captain Francis Babu should be assassinated or should be killed. Remember when I told you last time that the Chinese have told him to stop? Oh, yes. Jones, thank you. Gilbert Bukenya's son went to school with Muhoozi at Sandhurst. But as soon as he was finished, they found a way to kill that son. Because then that son becomes a parallel competitor with the lumpen. Okay? So that one was eliminated. Captain Francis Babu, according to inside sources, Museveni has said should be killed because he's starting to speak up. And that doesn't work for Museveni. Everybody has to shut up and walk with their head down like sheep and follow whatever he says and say, yes, sir. Well, some people have woken up, maybe out of hardship for Babu. I cannot say that it's because he really wanted to. No. I believe it's because his son was killed mysteriously, and also because he has not been able to afford life like he used to. I'll be right back. Okay. My phone I had a call coming in. So they're supposed to capture these new people at once, even if they're in different parts of the country, of the city of Kampala. They're already trailing these people. They want to catch all of them at once. Okay? Once they do, take them to one place, and then this place is, I think they said, Church House or Mapera House. Those are the two possible locations. If you know, Mapera House and Church House are tall buildings. And because Museveni is very fearful, those two top floors, he has rented them out or forcefully, obviously, has forcefully taken those two top floors so that he can use them for his security monitoring of anything that could hit him in Nakasero. So those floors are not free for nothing. He actually takes them once people build and makes them his own, where he takes people for meetings, where he terrorizes people. So those two places, either Mapera House or Church House, is where these NUP executives are going to be taken in the night so that no news or media or some of us, well, that'll be the opposite of their time. So I will know about it and I'll come live. He wants to take them there so that he can get each one of them to call Chagulanyi, His Excellency, and try to get his whereabouts. Like I said, Museveni thinks, and Muhoozi, Salim Saleh, they think that Bobi Wine has his phone with him and that they're going to call his number that used to be and say, hey, boss, We are here. How are you doing? So he thinks that because each one of them speaks with him at different levels, he thinks that somehow one of them will be, His Excellency will tell them where he is. No, buddy. That's not how it works. At this point, I can tell you, just being who I am, that if I were His Excellency, which I know he's smarter than I am, I wouldn't have my phone, the usual one. So there's not a way that anybody can reach me. I would be the only one to reach someone. So that is probably not going to happen now that they've heard it from here. Okay? The mission should be at night so that by morning they're already released and returned to their prospective homes. But Muhoozi will meet them and try to interrogate them and try to get His Excellency's whereabouts. Also, Museveni has released money to the media houses to start hosting programs of peace and reconciliation. I told you about that. The Kasukus are privy to this information. They're aware and they're going to push this as far as possible. The religious council, interreligious council, elites and professionals, not politicians, because for a change, Museveni doesn't want to use politicians for this mission because he has lost a lot of money. For example, the Mpuga said, oh yeah, give us anything you can because we're going to bring this Kaboi to you. Oh yeah, that did not work. So Museveni does not want to use politicians anymore because we have punched holes through them. Holes, yes, boycott Kasuku, please. Everybody do. Nabanja is to be removed, and Museveni has said so. They say that Nabanja is a total embarrassment and adds no value to his government anymore. As you know, Nabanja is just a position filler. In their description, as they laugh and joke about it, they say Nabanja's only good job is to take money, mawugo, to funerals. She has no value. She should never be sent to a foreign mission abroad for any reason. Only sent to burials. And when she's done with Museveni's burials, at some point they'll get rid of her. They're saying Kadaga will not pass June. She will not live until June of this year. And they're working on a replacement already. They're discussing people like Namuganza, but many of them feel like Namuganza is not appropriate because what they use her for is different. Let's just stop at that. So the transition process for UPDF, here's how it goes. All 3- and 4-figure brigadiers, colonels, generals are going to be killed. So far, 29 of those were given poison on Taresita. Okay? Taresita was that event that they had where they had all the military converge somewhere. He does it once a year, every year. 29 of those have been poisoned, and they will not live till November of 2026. My brothers and sisters, why do you want to die this way? Why doesn't some of you become a hero and do what's important? Why do they kill you like chickens? Why do you let that happen? Why don't you join us? Why don't you join us and let's free ourselves? Do you know how much you will enjoy life? Do you know how much you will enjoy life when everything has changed? When His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu is in power? Do you know how well you will live? Do you know how well the policies will be for you people? Do you know how well paid you will be? Do you know how well your quarters, your living quarters will look? Do you know that we can fund your children? Do you know that you will have so much respect? In America here, if I saw somebody in armed forces or in armed uniforms, you know what most people do? Everybody will say, thank you for your service. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. I think it's almost morning in Uganda. I'm back. Apologize for the previous cutoff, but I'm back. My name is Lady Winnie. Today is